Okay, and you just notice that. Now it does not mean that you cannot use this cider block, you cannot use this cider block in your LAN. When I say the LAN means your network means your VNet. You can use it that. Okay. If you look at, we do typically takes this IP address. Now anything starting from 10.1.1.0 to 10.255.255.255, this particular is in a class A address, and I believe this we discussed on a first session. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And similarly is this. So if you look at this becomes my private IP address. Okay. Now if I'm using the cider block for my VNet 10.0.0.0/16 or /24, and I'm using for my VNet or subnet, that becomes my private IP address. Is that clear? Any IP address which gets assigned from the pool of Microsoft Azure IP addresses is a public IP address, or any IP address is outside of these three scopes, or the scope which we have for our VNet is a public IP address. Is that clear?
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Private IP is only used to communicate internally. Private IP cannot be used to communicate over the internet. Is that clear? Public IP is used to communicate over the internet. So as the public and the private terms, very common, separate, and unique with unique properties. Okay, and unique methods.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Prashant. Prashant, any question? Hey, hi Ramesh, good morning. Hello.
Hi, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Any question from you, Prashant? Prashant, if you are speaking, you are on mute. Please come out from mute and speak up.
What is this, sir? Is this the last session?
Sorry?
The slide.
Yes. This one?
Yeah.
This
Just
is not a
check.
slide. This is a Google Doc, simple doc.
Okay.
Okay, the site was having a public IP and a private IP. Just I was, because I don't remember these ranges. Okay, from where to where. So just was taking from the internet. Okay.
Okay. But this one, which class where we use it, sir? The class A for internet and the class C for internal.
No. So okay, look at this way. Class A, Class B, Class C is an classification of your IP addresses. Okay.
Right.
In that classification, this particular range we use for the private IP addresses. This particular range from the Class B addresses used for the private IP addresses. Okay. And this range from the Class C address we use for the private IP addresses. Now, if I say, if you look at your address for your laptop behind your router, right, internet always comes by default 192.68.1.1, right? Wrong, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. How does it come? Because that is my LAN PC, right? Wrong.
Right.
So that's Class A, Class B, Class C, how they are used depending on the organization. There is an again IANA standards. Okay, which class of IP address best suits for my requirement. Okay, and if you look at based on the range, it's a different range. Okay, but as I did mention, in cloud we do typically use the larger VNet is a /16 only. Okay, not more than that. Got it?
16. Okay, 16.
16 is an larger, so 16 to 28, okay, in ideal range. And I believe Google we can create up to the 16 to 29 also, means the smallest VNet with 29, okay, the largest with the 16, okay. This
Okay.
is there in same in AWS, Azure, and Oracle. Yeah. Any question from you, Prashant? I believe Prashant, if you are speaking, you are on mute. Any question before we proceed with the normal review?
Yeah, Bhudev, no, I am just a bit behind in watching the video. So
Okay, okay.
if required, in future, I'll ask.
So
Thank
if
you.
you are following the videos, are you clear what we are covering? Are you able to do your labs
Yeah,
and
yeah, most of the things are, yeah, there. And in between, I started labs also. And but now, I mean, I think again, I will start the labs again.
yes, yes, please do that. Okay, so I don't know, in one of you is really doing a good lab, who is using this resource group, easy resource group, okay, is doing a good labs. Okay, I can monitor from my end only.
Okay, must be
Okay,
Shaikh.
I don't know. So
Yes,
either
yes.
use
It's mine.
you,
Okay.
Saik, okay, Arslan or Ramesh, but because I cannot get, or I didn't try basically who created it. Okay, who created it, but I can see. Okay, now
Shaikh, are you giving exam in near future?
Sorry.
When are you giving your exam?
Uh,
You're on mute, Shaikh.
yeah. Hello. I scheduled for AZ900
Acha, acha. When?
24.
Okay, okay,
It is
good,
free,
okay.
good.
na? From IBM side, it is free. You can also
Yeah,
join.
yeah, I know, I know. Yeah. Okay, I'll call you separately. We'll discuss. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
okay. So we are going with the storage part. Okay, and now we have an Azure file and the Azure file and file sync. Okay, so you know files here, right? And we do typically use in our organizations or in our teams the files here, right? And if I use the term files here, probably everyone knows why we use files here, right? Wrong. Means to meet the requirement where we need to upload the file centrally, which should be visible or accessible to every individuals, or the file can be accessed at the same time without any manual intervention to the other parties as well. Now it could be a other user, it could be a other virtual machine. Okay, and this works typically on an NFS file share based of technology. Okay, and similarly we have in Azure is an Azure Files. Okay, similarly we have in AWS like a EFS, Elastic File Storage. Very simple service, very straightforward service, and it's not used like we use a virtual network. We use a storage, typical storage I'm talking about. We use a virtual machine, we use an IA. This requirement is not as major, but wherever is needed, the importance of this Azure file storage is very important. Okay, important from the perspective, if let's say I'm having a 10 VMs or I'm having a 10 users, they need to upload all the data to the single location. Either I need to have a file share or shared location where all can upload. But if look at from the perspective where is a huge amount of data needs to be immediately accessible after read. So after write, okay, immediate write, immediate read after the write activity, then Azure Files kind of a things comes very important and handy and accessible as an kind of a local storage. The true example is if you want to take a backup of an Oracle database, okay, and if database this backup needs to be restored on other node as well, or you want to store up another node from the backup, then you can use Azure File Shares. The shared location or Azure file will be mounted as a local drive, network drive to that particular VM and is accessible as a local. And we can put many security controls or the security restrictions over the Azure files. Means if I want to control or be accessed from only 2 VMs, I can put that control. Okay. For that, Azure File Saver is used. Now, files versus blobs. Okay. Azure File Sync Services, managing file share, Azure File Sync components, file share snapshots, file sync steps, and demonstration of file share. When I say files versus blobs, so if I do typically compare files with blobs, when I say files, then my files becomes a flat file. Okay. These files will be accessible using NFS, okay, or SMB protocol, means the port 445, which is not needed for my Blob storage. Okay, in Blob storage, you can use your VHTs. Okay, in Blobs, you can use any kind of a storage means of block storage. We know what is a block storage is. Blob storage is nothing where we can use or store our executable files. Means I can install my any software to the Blobs files, but I cannot install any software into my Azure files. Okay. Blobs means this disk or a drive, Blob storage, can be used as on a C drive for your machine, but files, Azure files, cannot be used as a C drive for your machine. Now, on top of Blobs, this called an unmanaged. This called an unmanaged. Okay, unmanaged means Azure do not manage it. We need to manage this Blob storage. To overcome from unmanaged to managed, AWS comes with a managed disk, especially for the C drives or the data drives, means the DEFG. So now, once we say the managed for the blobs, means the disks, okay, Azure automatically takes care of it. And we can install any binary or an executables into the managed disk, or if we want to use unmanaged disk, then the blobs. Okay, but same is not possible in the files. Now, Azure Files is an SMB interface. Okay, client libraries and a REST APIs interface that allows access from anywhere to stored files. Look at anywhere. Okay, when to use my Azure Files? When we have a lift and shift an application to the cloud. Lift and shift an application to the cloud. Trust me, MS spent. Okay, MS spent. Now I'm having this is my Azure files here. Okay, this Azure files here, and here I'm having my on-prem environment. Okay, and here I'm having my cloud environment. Okay, now I'm having one typical database. Okay, typical very huge database. Now how to migrate it? Okay, now what I can do, just take an example. This is an Oracle database. Just take in as Oracle database, right? I can devise on a solution using on data guard. And once this is completely syncs, depending on the speed, bandwidth, size, I can do a failover to here, right? Wrong. But trust me, if let's say is only 1 TB of data, right? 1 TB of how much time it is going to take? Trust me, it is going to take very good amount of time. When I say good amount of time, I cannot say is on a 1 day or a 2 day or a 10 hours. It totally depends on the network bandwidth of my syncing network, right? Wrong. To overcome this situation, what I can do, I can create a file share. I can mount this file share as an any drive, let's say P drive, okay, and I will move entire data to my P drive here. Okay, I will move entire data, that 1 TB data, to my P drive. Okay, and this is an NFS drive. Okay, or this is an Azure Files here. Now, once this copy is done, this is local copy. Trust me, it will be very fast. Okay, it may take, let's say 1 hour or 2 hour, the copy will finish here. Okay, once the copy is finished, what I can do during the copy only, or after the copy or before the copy, I can mount the same Azure files here as an a P drive. If P drive letter is available on this VM, or as an a Q drive, means you will find definitely drive letter available, because we have a 26 letters. Okay, so and we can use 23 or 24 out of those. AB we cannot use it. Okay, and again one is for the C drive. Okay, if you take an a CD-ROM also, then also 22 you can use it. Now, once the copy is done or being copied, once the copy is done or being copied, now this data is available here. So we can use for the same purpose the Azure files here. Now, stored shared data across multiple virtual machines. Now, here is my one machine. This is could be my physical machine. This could be my virtual machine, but this is typically my VM. Okay, in Azure, and it can be accessed at the same time. Store development and debugging tools that needs to be accessed from many virtual machines, means the management of this particular files here, either you can do from here or you can do from here. It's totally depend, because this files here is accessible on both the nodes. Okay, now coming to the Azure Blobs, client libraries and REST APIs interface that allows unstructured data, okay, flat namespace to be stored and accessed at a massive scale in Blob. We have seen how to create a container, okay, in a Blob, and store the data and access that data. Now, this support for streaming and random access scenarios, access application data from anywhere. When I say the application data, means typically my application data, okay, and it will be an unstructured format. Okay, any question? Now coming to the managing file shares. Okay, file share means we need to define the quota or a limit of size, how much with capacity we want to create in a file share. We must ensure the port 445 is open for Windows. Okay, 445 is open for Windows. Linux, we need to mount the drive. Okay, Mac OS, we need to mount the drive. Secure transfer required SMB 3.0 encryption. We do typically use 2.0. Okay, but secure
So
transfer, yeah,
one question. Okay. Since this is used in multiple VM, right?
yeah.
Maybe 2, 4. So any limitation? Because in
Uh,
our environment, we have one staging folder. Okay. So mostly in a staging folder, we are storing a software. Okay. For
guys,
related.
can I just take a call, please? One.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hey guys, sorry, I need 5 more minutes, please. Extremely sorry.
Okay, okay.
Guys, extremely sorry. Okay. Hello.
No problem. Uday.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. So there was some question. Can you please come again? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, in our environment, we have one slash staging file system. So in this file system, we usually use to store software and patching related in software. Okay. So
Mm.
in each server, we have this file system. Okay.
Mm.
So it means 100 GB in each server. Okay.
Correct.
So what I understand from this, we can create one staging folder. That staging with the maybe 200 GB or 500 GB. That staging server can be used in multiple VM or multiple server using this file systems here, right?
Correct. But that is current environment is an Azure where you are talking about?
No, no. If it is Azure, then we can use like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. We can.
Okay. Yeah. So if it is in Azure or is in AWS or is in Oracle or is in a Google Cloud, the same way. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now file share snapshots. So you know why we taken a snapshot. Snapshot is nothing but is in a backup, right? Wrong. So because we cannot leave our file share without backup. Okay, because if something goes wrong, how we will restore our data? So this comes as an incremental snapshot that captures the share state at a point in time, and I believe we all knows what is an incremental or what is a differential, right? Because we all are an Oracle DBA. Okay, this snapshot is a read-only copy of your data, that snapshot at the file share level and restore at the file level, because we do typically store files into it. Okay, it could be a VST file, it could be any exe file, it could be a doc, Excel, or anything. Okay, protection against application errors and data corruption. This particular files here do provide this snapshot protection against application error and the data corruptions. Means if something goes wrong, we can restore back. Protection action against the accidental deletion or unintended changes, means anything which happens with the existing data. Okay, based on the, if we have an snapshot, we can restore back to the prior image or a version of that particular data. Coming to create a file share and upload a file, manage a snapshot, create a file share PowerShell, or mount a file share. Okay, now I will go ahead and I will create a file share. Okay, in this, if you look at here, let me see if I'm having an storage account, because in last session I believe I deleted it. Okay, so let me create an storage account, and you know this storage account, how to create this storage account. And this, once we create an storage account, this storage account comes majorly with the four: blobs, file, okay, bps, rc. So I'm creating okay, new resource group, and this is my test storage account bps. Okay, if I say SABPS, okay, my test SABPS. Okay, so is available. Again, in which reason I want this particular storage account: performance, standard, or premium. I am good with the standard. Redundancy, whether is a geo redundant, as we have looked as a LRS, GRS, ZRS, ZGRS, and RAGRS. So I need the local redundant storage only. The reason being, I do not want to pay much charges for this particular lab. And if you look at the TLS version 1.2, I'm using it. And what is the access tier? It is a hot or cool. Now we'll create a network. Now this is becomes a very important, this piece. Okay, now As I already explained, now how I want to access this storage account means based on the public endpoints means all networks, the global access, or the public endpoint with selected networks means I can make this public network only to my this system IP, okay? Or on a private endpoint means the network which I'm using, and trust me, if this particular files here I'm creating for the SQL databases, then I do specifically limit to the subnet, okay, of the SQL databases. In this case, I will use a public endpoint or the public endpoint with selected networks. I need to add mine one, okay, and then we can upload it. But currently I'm using my laptop over the internet. I will be using my public endpoint. Now, routing preferences. Do we need a Microsoft network routing or the internet routing? I need the Microsoft one, and this is a data retention policy as we have already seen it. Now we can create our files here. Sorry, this is still in a storage account, and under the storage account we can create in a blob, we can storage in a file, we can do in a queue, or we can create in a table storage, okay? Once we have a storage account created, then we'll go ahead and we will provision our first files here.
So we need to create a VM as well, no? Right? For
Yes,
monitoring purpose.
we will be creating, or let me take an another, okay? It's must, right? Now hope you all should be very good with the VM creation and all, right? Any confusion, any doubt in the VM part?
No, no.
Okay, so this VM is getting deployed. So I will come back to my storage account. If I look at my storage account in the data storage, I'm having a container. I will create one container, then the blob. I'm having a files here. In this files here, I need to create my files here. So if you look at, I need to define my files here name and the quota. If you look at, quota means the size which you want to consume. Set a quota in GB up to 512 GB to limit the total size of files. Trust me, I need only the 100 GB out of now. And which storage, if you look at this premium, okay, the premium is disabled, okay. हाँ भैया, कुछ नहीं, मैं बताता हूँ नीचे आके. Okay, because if we have selected the premium for our storage account, then only the premium feature will be allowed for all the data storage. In this, we have the transaction optimized, hot and cool. Based on our requirement, we can select it. We know If this particular file share is going to have the transactions related data, we should use the transaction optimize. If it is data is frequently accessed, then we should have an hot tier. If this data is very less, this file share data is very less or unfrequently used, then we should use cool tier. So we can select anything, okay, and it will provision my file share. Once this file share is provisioned, if you look at this is my file share, okay, this will be available. Now in this I can connect to file share, I can upload it, I can add directory, I can refresh, I can delete share, I can change share, I can edit quota. Okay, coming to this, if I want to use this, okay, if I want to use this, there are same properties connect quota metadata. I can use the connect from here, and if you look at the complete command is available for me here. Okay, complete command is available for me. This is for Windows. If it is for Linux, this will be an typically command which you need to use it. If it is an Mac OS, this should be command. Okay, so we can use the mounts, take this, and execute on the VM. Okay, you know how to connect to the VM. Now I'm having an IP. I will go MSTSC. I will take my username. It should be fast, very. Okay, so if you look at currently, right, if you look at currently, now on this system we have C drive, we have a temporary drive. Okay, the temporary storage. So typically we have a provision one is in a C drive, and apart from we do not have anything. Okay, now if we come to our portal, okay, if we come to our portal and look at here, now if you want to manage this for any other drive letter, you can do so. Okay, when I say do so means you just change the letter from here and mount it this
So
particular.
one is written as storage key authentication, other is Active Directory. Okay, so we can do
Yeah,
through Active Directory as well.
yes, if this system, if this system, this VM is part of domain, right, then you can do as an Active Directory as well. Okay, that's
Okay.
right thing. And typically in all the customer environment, you have the same. Okay, you have the Active Directory. Okay, now I will take this command, okay, by copying here. Okay, and if I go to my server, okay, provided all the modules are available, okay, now this will go. But if you remember, this particular P drive, okay, used is 0. This is particular file system. Okay, this we have already seen. This is my test account, and the extension comes with the file. Then core.windows.net is on a standard naming convention. Okay, this all the required ports means 445. must be open. In current case, it's there. Current case, it's there as part of it. As part of this is available, right? Wrong. If you block this, you will not be able to mount it. So allow VNet inbound. I'm doing from the virtual machine to the virtual network. Virtual network is my storage is the same. Now this rule is allowing it. If this is not available by default, it's there. So in best practice, what I will do, I will block or deny every traffic. Then I will allow only the selective traffic. That's the recommended one. Okay, that's the recommendations. Okay, and best practices. Now if I go back to my this particular VM, okay, and if I look at here, okay, then my drive is there, right? Wrong. My drive is there. Now if I say here particular file, and I say text document, and I say bps dot txt, okay, now once I go back to my Azure files here, okay, limit this and I open this, okay, what will happen? I'm having a bps.txt, right? Wrong. What I will say, look at now copying. If this particular server VM sometimes may not have direct copy access from your laptop, then it becomes very difficult how I need to transfer my data to my VM. So what I will do here, I will select or upload on a file to the files here, okay, to the files here, and from there it will be available on my files here, okay, means on my VM. Okay, so if you look at this is VM, right? Wrong. So if you look at this is pretty fast, pretty quick. If you want to really transfer or move large amount of data from one place to another. Now this is on this VM. Now you can stood up another
So
VM.
this
Yeah.
file can be copied in C drive as well, right? No problem.
Yeah.
Okay. We have mounted this drive. So this is a permanent or every time we need to do?
So permanent. So this will be there. Now two things, right? So if you remember, okay, this
If
will
we
be
reboot a VM, then it will be there. Or again, we need to run this
so
command.
two things, right? So this is currently this will be there, and this will be in my login. Why in my login? Because I mounted this drive. I mounted this drive in my login, right? Wrong. But if you log in, you will not find this drive. Okay. If that is the case, then it needs to be mounted for all users. If it is an Active Directory, all the domain users, on at the system level. Got my point? System ID, system level. Then whoever joins or log into this particular VM, all will have access to this particular files here. Got my point?
Yes, yes.
So can we mount this to multiple computers?
Yes, that is the real purpose of it. Now same files here storage can be mounted onto the another VM. In Azure, I'm not sure about the max limit, but in AWS this is 1000 EC2 instances, means 1000 VMs you can mount the same. Got my point?
Okay.
But trust me, there will be, I do not have the real figure right now, but I will check and I will keep you updated with that. What is the max limit? But this is a huge number and you can never reach the max limit for this. Okay, because 1000 EC2 instance for the very same purpose is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Okay. Now, so this way, using a file share, we can move our large amount of data seamlessly from one location to another location, one system to another system, right? Wrong.
So you were saying for Active Directory, if this is configured for a particular user, let's say for under my name.
Yeah.
So wherever, if I have multiple virtual machines, like multiple server, wherever I log in with my name, it will get mounted automatically there.
No, 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 no. You have to mount on that VM.
Okay.
See,
I was
presence you
thinking.
need to show, right? So presence you need to show. You need to tell I need to mount this particular. See, this is something like, okay, this is something like you have this files here, okay? On this VM, you need to tell, right? After login to this VM, I need to mount this here, right? Wrong. Or you need to mount here. This you need to tell. Now, if you log into any system, it says, or if you install any software, it says to me privately or to all the users on this system, right? Wrong. If you have noticed this, certainly means you can install any software for your use only. You will only able to use that application, or for all the users who log into that system, right? Wrong. So depending on the requirement, you can mount this drive to all the users or to the single user. Okay. And accordingly, and this is again is a security feature. If I'm a DBA, okay, and this is for my backup, why the sysadmin should look at my here, right? Wrong. Only the DBA team should have it, right? Wrong. Clear, guys? No.
Yes, yes.
So always one
So
from the access, another security perspective, we need to look at fair. Okay. And that's how the Azure rollback access controls comes into the picture. Okay. Now manage snapshots. Okay. Create a file share and upload a file share. Okay. Coming to this is my file share. Okay. This is my file share. Now, if I want to edit the quota, if I want to say 20 gig, okay. Sorry. Okay. If I want to say 20 gig, now I have modified the quota, and if I want say typically based on day-to-day practices, now I say 30 gig. So I can do it now. As I did mention, change tier. If I want to have a hot tier or cool tier, I can change my tier. I can refresh this. I can add a directory. Means I can have a directory within my files here. So this is my Bhudev directory. This will be Prashant, Saik, Ramesh. So they can have their own directory. This directory is nothing but is in a folder only, right? Wrong.
Bhudev, can you tell me one thing again? That change tire, what is that?
Okay. If you look at the change tire, now we configured this particular file for the transaction optimized. Okay. Now, if you feel this file share, I will use for my archive purpose. Got my point? You will store all your backups here. That backups means the long retention backups. Backup retained for 1 year, backup retained for 5 years. So what I need that backup should go into my cool tier, right? Wrong. Tape library. Getting me? Not getting? See, once you are not accessing that backup for 1 year, you, if there is an option to pay even a less price, which option you will select? With the less price only, right? Wrong.
Yes. Okay.
So why we choose the tape drives? Why we use the TSM server, means the tape drive controller server? Why we use? Because if we keep the backup on tape drives, the cost is very less. If we do use the same backup stored locally with the local drive on server, it's too much costly, right? Wrong.
Okay.
That
So cool tire is archive.
archive.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is in a file share. Okay. Now you can see the all the properties, like a properties here also. Now I go back to my files here. Okay, now from here we can schedule on a backup. Okay, now view snapshot, there is no snapshot as of now, and you know we have not taken any snapshot right now. Come down from here. Even I need to create that also. Okay, so look at now. So you know why? Because we have not did I explain the backup in VM during VM session?
No.
No, right? So backup might be the pending. Okay, step. Now let's say this is my recovery service vault. Just take is in a vault, just take is in a backup location. That's it, nothing. Okay, I say create it. So okay, and I say create it. So I created recovery service vault, means the vault for all my backup locations. Okay, so if you look at this, okay, so
By
backup.
snapshot, what do you mean? It is OS. If you want to restore OS to a particular time.
Anything. Okay, so
Okay, not
they
only OS, anything.
anything. Okay, so now, so we have created a recovery service vault. Okay, so I will go to this. Okay, now what does it mean is, okay, if you look at the backup items, backup policies. Okay, there is a session for it, but in short, now what you want to backup, you want to backup in Azure, you want to backup Azure stack or from on-prem, means using this backup tool, backup vault, we can take a backup from on-prem server as well. Okay, I will say Azure, and it asks me, if you look at, right, virtual machine backup I want to take. Okay, I will configure backup virtual machine. Okay, now it says the backup. Now backup by default, and this policy for the 30 days is there by, but we typically create our custom policies, and this custom policy based on our requirement retention, we can create that policies. Okay, let's say daily backup, right? One policy. Now database archive backup, one policy, because we cannot wait for the archive backup to happen in 24 hours, right? Wrong. Then we can have weekly backup. Okay, and then monthly backup based on the system criticality, and appropriate same backup schedule as we do typically use in Oracle scheduling. Okay, and we can use monthly backup, default backup, or any backup. Now from here I will add my VM to backup. Once the VM is added for my policy, for my backup, now this is asking OS disk only. If there are multiple disks, if we are not selecting this option, means it will backup everything, and I say enable backup. So this way we enable a backup for VMs. Okay, another way is, okay, let's submit it. Now recovery service vault, what I want to backup, I want to backup my files here. Got my point? Say backup, and this backup, again no storage account selected, so I will select my storage account, and this was my storage account, and in this storage account, then I will select my files here. Okay, now still it is validating. Okay, registering storage account with recovery service vault, this might take a minute. Okay, this might take a minute. So once my recovery service vault get registered with storage account, then it will show me here that storage account, and then I need to add the file share. Now again, you can have one file share, you can have multiple file shares, and based on the file share criticality, we do take the backups. Okay, we do take the backups. So just wait, it's still deploying. Okay, so select, okay. So my test account, now add the file share. Now my file share will come here. I say okay, and now we can have the backup policy. So we can edit this policy, or we can create a new policy. We can go ahead with the backup policies. Okay, and the required retention, I want 8 days. Okay, I can do so, and my backup will be enabled for my file share. So previously in the previous step we did a backup for VM. Now we have enabled a backup for file share. Okay, based on schedule, the backup will run, and this backup again get stored in storage account. Okay, in storage account. Just wait. So deployment is in a progress, so let it complete. Okay, so manage snapshots. So we are taking a backup now, then create a file share PowerShell or mount a file share PowerShell. So you can try creating a file share using a PowerShell and mounting a file share using a PowerShell. Let me know if you face any difficulty in that. Okay, if you are not, then I will show you. If I go to my storage accounts or my recovery service vault, I go to my recovery service vault, I go my backup, still nothing is done. Okay, backup items. So once you say here you have one Azure storage, which is a Azure Files, and you have one Azure virtual machine that is in a backup. If you have other things scheduled for backup, similarly you will get the count here. If you add one more machine for the backup, this will increased by 1, means it will become 2. Okay, this is a figure from here. If I go back to my virtual machine and if I say the backup, now it will show me the entire schedule and all for my backup part. If that backup is not enabled here, this will not be displayed here. Okay, this will not be displayed here. And if it is saying very clearly warning, means the backup pre-check is passed, warning, my initial backup is in a pending. My now if you can instant a backup, go ahead and say in a backup now, it will be backed up. Okay, is that clear guys? Any doubt?
So what I can see is you name a feature, you will find it here. So many options are there.
Many options are there. True. Okay. So now my backup jobs, okay, has been submitted. Okay. Here only some this is an automation. Okay. No, this is from the VM I'm showing. I will go into the recovery service vault. I will go here, and here you will find somewhere jobs, backup jobs, sorry. So here you should have the jobs in. So if you look at, right, so whatever we have done it right wrong is available here. Now my VM backup is in progress. Okay, my VM1 configure backup completed. Okay, my test SABPS registration is completed with the recovery service vault, the storage account, and configuring backup is completed, and backup will happen at the schedule. Even we have selected default values, we have never checked what is in our schedule, but whatever schedule we need to define it. Go back to again the files here, storage account, my test BPS files here. Okay, and if I look at here, view snapshots, so no snapshot. Okay, no snapshot as of now. If wanted to add some additional, I'm available now, we can name it that. Okay, so now in the moment, now the snapshot will be taken. Okay, another will happen based on schedule. Okay, once it's done, means it's in a sync. My files here is sync, means with backup is done. Okay,
So we can restore
yes, you go
using a
ahead and
snapshot.
restore.
Okay.
You can go ahead. So if you have seen the VMware workstation, right, we do typically take an snapshot of entire VM, right, on that time. If you have practiced for the rack purpose on the VM, right, building a rack or practicing for the rack, right, 10G or 11G, there we always do take an snapshot of VM, right, wrong. If something goes wrong for the configuration of rack or something is not coming, at least we need not to do everything starting from the scratch. Okay, installing a OS, installing all the packages, compiling, creating a shared that passwordless authentication, right, creating a shared storage, that will take a snapshot and we do the practice, right. Same concept here for the snapshot. Okay, now Azure File Sync. Okay, Azure File Sync is a centralized your organization file shares in Azure Files while keeping the flexibility, performance, and compatibility of an on-premise service. This is a lift and shift, branch office backups, backup and disaster recovery, and file archiving. Now, as you have seen, we can do simply lift and shift. Lift and shift is I copied something from here to this particular drive. Okay, let's say I say this is my data. Okay, this is my data. I say copy, then I say copy here. Okay, now this is lift. Okay, this is lift, means I'm copying here. Trust me, wherever it is mounted, immediately it will be shift to that location. Lift means taking from one place and putting into another place or a location. Okay, is a very lift and shift, and this terminology is very highly used and utilized in migration terminologies. Okay, now if I say this will come, users has come up. Okay, Bhudev Sharma, this is my user is coming from my C drive directory. Okay, what else will come? This is a 1% complete. Okay, now I do not want much, I will say cancel it. Okay, leave it, because now if you go back to another server, this data is immediately available, it is synced and will be available. Okay, branch office backups means I have showed you to taken a backup for your on-prem as well. Okay, backup. So what you need to take a backup on premise. On premise, file units and a backup, file and folders, Hyper-V virtual machine, VMware, Microsoft SQL Server. What you need in a backup, just select that backup. Okay. Prepare infrastructure and select your system. This will give you an agent to download, installed on target server wherever you want to take a backup. Okay, and the backup will be done. Okay, but we need an agent there. Okay, backup
So
and disaster
simply,
recovery.
simply we need to install the event. That's all.
Yes, that's all. Because see, if you look at this agent, okay, where was backup? This is storage account recovery service part. Okay, if you go here and if you say backup, this backup is this recovery service vault. Okay, go back. So where you want to backup? So I say on premise. What you want to? You need to select. The moment you select, let's say anything from here, right? Anything from here. I say Microsoft SQL Server. Now for this backup, these things are being compiled and download this agent. Once you do download this agent, okay, now that moment, okay, this will compile all the requirement, and once you will install this, once you install in the source server, post installation immediately backup will start. Okay, and this is respective to any of the service you use for it.
So there is no any other configuration required since installation.
No, only needed, that is a connectivity, right? Wrong, connectivity should be there, right? Wrong, otherwise how will happen? If I take this to standalone server and install there, that will not happen, right? Wrong, the connectivity should happen, because once you
So
install this
connectivity will happen through this agent only.
yes, no, sorry, this will only establish for the backup purpose. This isn't your connectivity, let's say from on-prem to your VNet, right, should be already existing, otherwise how will it will communicate? Or it will go via internet, right? Wrong, so connectivity should be there with your system where you are installing a agent. Agent will not do the connectivity. Agent will only check the connectivity with the recovery service vault and will trigger the backup. That's it. Make sense?
Yes, okay, thank you.
And every agent based communication is this way only. Okay. Now we can do a file archiving, means if you select the archiving, means the cool tier, it will be a file archiving. File sync components, the storage sync service is on top of all resources. The registered server object represents a trust relationship between your server or cluster and storage sync services. The Azure File Sync agent is a downloadable package that enables Windows Server to be synced with an Azure file share that we were trying it. A server endpoint represents a specific location on a registered server, such as a folder. A cloud endpoint is an Azure file share. A sync group defines which files are kept in sync. So we have from the storage account is registered with recovery service vault. This sync services will download the agent, is the cloud endpoint, okay, and will download the agent and install on-prem server, and that endpoint server now will become an endpoint, and that endpoint, once the agent is installed, okay, that will trigger the backup or the sync. Got it? guys. Try it once from your laptop. Okay, it will start backing up. But once you see it is triggering a backup or start syncing, just cancel it, because over the internet copying 30-40 GB of data for your laptop might be 100 GB or 100 plus GB based on your all drives and storage. It will take much time and there is no use. Trust me. Deploy the storage sync service. Okay. Prepare Windows Server, install the file sync agent and register the Windows Server. Now go to storage sync service. That's where it should show it here. Okay. Not coming. See, it's done long back. A few seconds ago. Let's wait. If I say browse all, nothing is there still. Nothing is visible. Refresh. See, sometimes taking long time. Okay, so already there. 2 minutes. If I say CVUS, BPS ABC, BPS ABC. This is a storage. I'm deleting this. Surprise not showing at all. location ID, resource group. This is cancel. Okay. So BPS ABC. This is only right. So sync services. Only storage sync services. Go here, say deploy. Deployments. Is removed or where it is moved? Sync services it is showing, but for creation option is moved to some other feature with something, or because here is showing only the view. Okay, that's it. If I say this is a BPC ABS. If I say browse for all view, or delete this default, I believe some features have changed for this. Okay, deploy storage sync. Let me see if it is move to the storage account. Same only, right? Okay. Sync services lifecycle, course, insight. Not there. Not storage sync here also. Safe. I say backup. This is backup. No, so S, Y, and C. See storage sync services. Okay, so refresh my view, default view, browse all storage sync services. It should come as a deploy storage sync. If I go here, create a resource, deploy. Azure sync. Sync. Why is sync services? This is cloud sync services. No. This is not app. Not. This is not. I believe this feature is moved from the main page to somewhere else. It's not getting deploy. No. Deploy sync. This is different. That's why I will check it where this option has moved. Okay, deploy storage sync.
Okay.
It's very straightforward. Okay, it should be there in the home. If you look at from a screenshot also, this is on top of the home only. It should come from the global search, but might be moved into some storage account, or this is my recovery service vault. If is in a recovery vault. Okay, site recovery. No, this will not be here. Storage accounts, because should be here only. Okay, so either now it should move ideally with the storage account, but I'm not finding any sync service here. Okay, so this keeps happening in all the clouds, not with Azure only, but all the clouds where that option has been moved. Okay, and then we'll take, if I take networking, encryption, security, what data protection is. No, it's a retention only, not shrinking anything. Okay. This is life cycle management. We have seen it. Okay. Let's park this. Okay, let's park this. I will find out where it has moved. Okay, then I will explain. Okay, so managing storage. Okay, so now storage explorer, import and export services, easy copy demonstration, storage explorer, and the demonstration easy copy. Okay, now this is a typical tool like we have an Oracle developer. Okay, from the Oracle developer you can connect to any of Oracle developer, means Oracle SQL Oracle developer only, right? Name is a similar tool. If I do look at here, okay, storage, Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. Okay, this tool is only for the, but run as an administrator. Just look at it, may ask a password. Okay, which will not be. Okay, so let's wait. This using this Azure Storage Explorer, we can manage only the storage account. Okay, now if you look at, once this is installed and open, now we can see the connections. If you look at, this is the storage account I used it. Okay, this is my ID using which I'm using my Azure access. Okay, this is the credentials. Now if I come to here, okay, Blob container. Now if I say files here, now we need to display name, summary, and then the connection string. Files here says shared access signature, and we can connect. But once we logged in to this particular account, automatically all the storage associated with this particular account should be available. If I look at storage account, And if you look at, this is showing something as Bhudev Aise, which was not my account, trust me. Okay, this is not my account. So just let's sync up. Okay, either I need to relog in, or I will just log out and log in back, I mean. But this is not my account currently. Okay, Bhudev Asset 1111. So if you look at, there is nothing in files for me. Okay, unable to type child resources. Okay, now I will go here and I will say here remove. Are you sure you want to remove this account? I say yes. Okay, now I will say add an account. Azure this sorry, even wrong. Okay, this account, let me try if this is the same password. You can return to Storage Explorer. You might need to authenticate again if you close this browser tab. I go to my Storage Explorer. Okay, and added Azure account. This is my tenant name, this is my directory, this is my credentials. If I go back to the again to the Storage Explorer, I should have my storage accounts. Connect to storage account. Okay, I want to use storage account or service, Blob container, files here, queue table. If I can use subscription label, storage account label, I can use Blob label. Means if you have given access to the specific, if you have given access to the specific files here, Blob queue table means the specific storage will only available to the user. Okay, only will be available to the user. If you take the entire subscription like I have it, okay, now in this case this is an Azure one, and I should have the entire access to this particular storage account. Okay, now if I go tenant Uday Sharma, if now connect to the storage account. Connection string, shared access signature, or account name and a key. Okay, I say account name and a key. What is a display name? I will take the display name of my storage account is this. This is my account name and the account key. The account key is the key which is there in my access key, and there are two keys. Okay, copy the key. Okay, copy the key and paste it here. Say next. Make sure you only connect to the resource you trust. I say connect. Bhudev.dba@gmail.com. Same, the ID, UID is undefined. It's available, install and close. Just ideally, if I'm having my subscription level, I should have my all the storage account. Okay, so available here. If anything, Bhudev Sharma, Azure Active Directory. Bhudev Sharma 89. Bhudev Sharma 89. Could not access resources for this tenant. Okay, storage account. Next, key. Storage account. My test. Already actually detects the existing connection. Cancel. Where is that? Same only. Name tenant, no subscription found. Add a resource. Subscription. Azure. This one. DBA. Okay, could have the DBA. This is my directory. Microsoft account home tenant is F8. If no man, add an account if I say
You already signed in, right?
here we signed multiple times.
Multiple times.
We signed multiple times. Okay. if you look at this is my default directory, could not access resources for this tnet. You may need to authenticate. See the errors. Authenticate now.
Can you give me the recording?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so just give me a moment. Okay, I should get an email. Okay, I got an email. Okay, and I say verify storage explorer. Okay, so if you look at this loading the, okay, now it's done. Okay, now it's done. So if I go back now, select the storage account, I say refresh all. So okay, so if you look at my storage is available here, right? MyFS. Okay, this is an MyFS, and do typically I will create a container. I will create a container. If you look at currently, there is no container. Okay, there is no container. This is a files here. If I go back again to container, I will create a container. Okay, BPS blob. Okay, and I say public access. Okay, now in this public container, I will upload a one sample file. Okay, and this sample file, now I want to explore this. I will take this snapshot. Okay, so upload. If I go into my explorer here, storage explorer, this is a free downloadable tool. Now I should have it here that soon. Okay, so I say refresh all. Now the storage will be available here. Okay, the Blob one here. So if you look at BPS Blob, and I uploaded a file.
Uday sir, can you give me recording privileges?
Yes, Ramesh, I'm giving now. Sorry about delay. Please start recording. So guys, for this storage explorer, what we need to do, we need to download the storage explorer www download Azure Storage Explorer. Okay, install it. Okay, wherever you find the free, just simply download it. Okay, and then install it and then start using it. Okay, this is a free tool. Okay, if I say Mac OS, Linux snapshot or Linux or Windows, just say go ahead and download it, install it. Once you install it, it will look like this. This will not have it. Okay, this will not have it. This Visual Studio will not have it there. This you have the local one, just connect it. Once you connect with the respective subscription and means the account ID, it should have typically all the resources in that particular. Now, if you look at the disks, okay, I have Azure Backup RG, BPS RG resource groups. Okay, and this is my data. Now, another part, I can upload files or folders from this place as well, from the Azure storage as well. So if you look at, even in the files here, I can use based on the requirement, and this storage explorer also is a very good tool. So selected files, okay, so I will say not this. Let me take this only. So I believe this is not. So I will upload this file, and this file is in a separate than the previously file. Now this file will be available again in Azure Portal under the Blob container. Get Azure AD users list.ps1. PS is nothing but a PowerShell script. If you go back here into Azure Blob storage, you should see two files here. So this storage explorer is a very good tool. Okay, I do not use much, okay, but very useful tool, especially and almost only when you are working with the mostly storage accounts. Is that clear, guys? Storage explorer, import and export services, anything. AG copy. AG copy is a Azure copy command line to copy the files from, like we do an SCP from one location to another copy location, or we do a copy normal CP in Linux. Similar is an AG copy. Try AG feature. Okay. So two homeworks for today. One homework for creating a file share using a PowerShell, or trying your commands using AG copy.
Okay.
You can use AG copy if the AG module is installed in your system from the command prompt, or directly go from the PowerShell, or you go directly from the Cloud Shell. Okay, just try it and let me know. This is Azure Storage Explorer, means access multiple accounts and subscriptions. Now here we can add in this single this tool Storage Explorer, we can add multiple accounts. Add an account. Okay, if I say add an account, okay, I say the subscription, okay, Azure. Okay, now it will go and ask me a username, and I'm having this user, okay, if I say this user, okay, and look at if this password is correct. Okay, and I got an sign in request, approve it. Okay, trust me, this is big, huge. Okay, just let's wait, and then I need to remove this account. See, can you see how many subscriptions I have? I believe this is 153. I am having an access. Okay, 153. And further, whatever subscription you
You
need.
have purchased your this subscription.
Sorry.
Have you purchased this subscription? How you got?
No. So this is my customer environment. Okay. So I'm removing it. Okay. I don't want to use this here. Okay. Just I showed from the multiple accounts perspective. Create, delete, view and storage resources. Now you can do any management from here. Okay. Any resource management. Now storage account. Now where is my that user? This is local one. Okay. This is local one. Now if I come to here, if I select this one and this one, now I should get my storage thing. Okay. Visual Studio. Now this is my storage account. Now in this storage account, I can do open in portal, get shared access signature, primary key, copy secondary key, or in Blob containers, I can create a Blob container. Okay. And I say simple test. Okay. So from here also, I can create the container. So if I look at here, I should have another container available at this level. So test is there, right? View and edit Blob queue table file Cosmos DB storage and data lake storage. So like we are looking at here. So if you look at all are available here. If you say here, all are available here. So all the options are available here. Obtain shared access signature SAS keys. So if you look at, we have seen the SAS keys here. Get shared access signature. The moment you say, you will get the real keys based on your requirement, and these options we have already checked in and we have discussed. For whatever you need, you will get an access token from here only. Available for Windows, Mac and Linux. So the supported platform. Import and export services, import jobs, move large amounts of data to Azure Blob storage or files. Export job, move large amounts of data from Azure storage, not files. So we know what is an import is, what is export is, right? Any data going into the Azure is an import. Any data coming out from the Azure is an export. Moving any data to Azure is a free of cost. Taking any data out of, moving any data out of Azure is a charge. Now simply AG copy source means abc dot file or absolute path means complete directory structure, then the file, then the destination. And trust me, mostly all the attributes and the properties or parameters remains the same. You can use the selective file names, you can use the star copy, you can use with the absolute path. Okay, you can use the AG copy. Demonstration: download and install Azure Storage Explorer, connect to Azure subscription, attach an storage account, generate a SES token, attach a storage account by using a SES connection. So different connectivity methods. Install AG copy tool. So this I was telling, if it is not available, simply say install module AG copy and try some commands. Okay.
So we can start this after break.
Sorry?
We can start this after break.
Yes, sure. Just I will take 2 more minutes. Okay, then we'll start. So AG copy and creating an account, the files here using a PowerShell is pending. Okay. Manage Azure storage, architecture diagram. This is what we have already covered it. Okay. So let's take a break, 15 minutes quick break, then we'll come back.